It looks like I'm muted. All right, then, let's try this all over. I'm Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. It is 5 p.m.-ish West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. And I see that we've got a couple different Central Time folk in the house. Rick, I think I've got the sound on now. E-music, there's something wrong. Every time Matt Statter comes on, you feel a little bit hungry. Well, you know, today might not be any different because let me tell you, I've got a couple topics on that front and even a little bit of a trivia question, or not so much a trivia question, just sort of a, a little quiz to see if you guys know just what's going on out there. Now, hold on one second. Something is going on with my eye. All right, there we have it, Rabbit. Shock is in the house letting everybody know that we've got that gear to make your Twitch less twitchy. We're coming out at you at 720, which means we're not going to be able to adjust higher, but you will be able to adjust lower. So if you're having a problem, by all means, twitch that Twitch gear and you will be good to go. All right, e-music in the house from our Central Time. Rick in the house letting me know that now he can hear me. Kenny from the coast, also a Central Time person. What do you know? It's like we got a crowd of the Central folk. But we also have a West Coaster here. That would be Andre. And of course, Shock, holding down the East Coast. I swear to goodness, we have got it all, except for perhaps a few island people that might be missing, but we know they're going to come in. Pocola T, there you go. I spy with my eyes. Statter crew flying high. We got it. West Coast in the house. Islands in the house. East Coast in the house. Now I guess we just got to find somebody in Colorado or something to hang out. But you know what? That's okay. They'll figure out where the cool kids hang out soon enough. Okie dokie. So why don't we get the party started? Okie, uh-oh. There we go. All right. I think that music is way too loud. Hold on. Hold the horses. I remembered to turn on the music, and apparently I wanted to blast all y'all out of the water with it. So, hopefully the music level, I don't know why it did what it did, but hopefully the music level is okay. We can adjust as needed. And, all right, so yes, that is exactly right, Andre. The globe-trotting glamour queen, Pocola T, is in the house. Excelente. All right, so I have to tell you guys, today did not go as planned. Now, I come on here a lot saying today did not go as planned, and as a general rule of thumb, that is true. But today was a special kind of something, right? So I leave the house because I've got important errands to do. I have to get cat food. I have to do some work errands, picking up some office supplies, etc., etc. Now, I go into the office supply store to do, all the things that I needed to do in the office supply store. And I did them. And it was fine. And nobody said anything because why would they have, right? Right. So I go next door to the beauty supply store to get some hair dye, and the, ladies there, like, oh, love your tattoos, blah, blah, blah. I go walk past them, and then immediately one of the ladies sidles up to me. Your dress is on inside out. I can see the tag. I didn't want to say it too loud, but I also thought you should know. And it was like, exactly, my dress was on inside out, so that was awesome. Poppy Shaney coming in to listen to the story of the day, as it were. And like I was saying, things didn't go as quite as planned. And so, so basically I went and got my emergency jacket out of the back of my car. And even though it was way too warm for an emergency jacket, I ran the rest of my errands. I ran the rest of my errands with the jacket on because, Now, granted, there was still another tag that's on the side of my dress that was showing, but I didn't... nobody needed to see the size of the clothes I was wearing, so I wore the jacket on top of it. Shock, doesn't everybody have an emergency jacket? I would like to think if you've got trunk space in your car. I mean, my car isn't nearly as bad as it used to be. I mean, literally, I used to have every sort of emergency, everything, basically like my life, emergency kit, earthquake, getting lost on the side of the road, whatever was in the back of my old Subaru. It took up a lot of space. So when I got my new Subaru, which was a little bit tinier anyway, I was like, okay, I need to like scale down my things. But, you know, there's still some things where it's like, no, you really should have like an emergency blah, blah, blah in your car. And it looks like Gina is in the house. Excelente. And yes, Andre, that is exactly it. Ignorance can be bliss and a blessing. But then again, you know, and oh, Darlene, no, I mean, it was funny because, you know, I would be willing to bet that the people at the office supply store probably didn't even notice. And if they did, whatever. But, you know, I thought the lady at the beauty supply store handled it actually, like, I couldn't have asked for a more better way of having it pointed out to me. You know, she walked up to me and just told me outright, this is what's happening. But, you know, she did it in a one-to-one. She didn't shout it across the store. So, you know, everyone could hear it. It was done quite subtly. And so that's exactly it, Andre. You need a bigger Subaru to fit the post-apocalyptic survival kit. But I still have stuff in the back of my car. Don't you guys have things in the back of your car? I can't possibly be the only one. Now, Shock has admitted to having an emergency jacket, right? I have some friends that keep an emergency change of clothes. And I don't care who you are, you need to do this. I always have an emergency roll of toilet paper in the back of my car for a couple reasons. First off, sometimes you need napkins, sometimes you need whatever, but also, and sometimes you need the toilet paper roll, right? But what I also keep it in the car for is because if I run out of toilet paper in my house, I know I at least have one more in my car. Like, that's a really simple thing. And so let's see here. Shock, you've got a car box. It's got ratchet straps, things to light on fire, blankets, tire plugs, etc. Ooh, tire plugs. That's a really good idea. So check this out. I always keep, like, I have a Pringles can rattling around under one of my car, or under one of my seats in my car. And it's just got, you know, crumpled up chip dust of the Pringles, right? And the reason why I might, I don't throw the Pringles box can away, or actually, this is true with any of my, right now it happens to be a Pringles can, but if I had like a crushed up bag of Doritos, I would probably keep them in my car too, because you guys, all of that chip dust is nothing but a beautiful fire starter. I mean, it is just grease-soaked fire starter. And so you can take just a little bit of chip dust, and literally you don't even have to, you can light the chip dust on fire on the pavement. You know, you don't even have to have anything to put it on. You don't have to have paper. You don't have to have nothing. That grease will just keep burning, and you can add, you know, your little tinders or whatever and actually start a fire. So even though it looks like, oh, are you some kind of hoarder? No, I keep the chip dust for emergency fire situations. And let's see here. So Picola tea, coolers, rubber slippers, hiking poles in trunk, toilet paper. Hold on. Toilet paper, female pee device. Oh, such a good idea. Afterbeat shower kit, mints in the glove box. See, there you go. That sounds like a great little emergency kit. My emergency kit is definitely not up to snuff the way my old one was. I have a extra t-shirt. I have an extra jacket. I have the toilet paper. I have the fire starters, you know, that type of thing. So, but not nearly as what am I trying to say? Not nearly as stacked and stocked. That's the word I'm looking for, as yours. And you know, actually, I've got an extra pair. I used to have rubber slippers in the back of the old Subaru. I need to do that because I have an extra pair that I don't really use since I got my new one and my new pair, but they're still good, so they should be my car ones. And let's see here, Darlene, yeah, you've got stuffs in your car trunk too, always, especially traveling up north. Right, totally. And Shock, by the way, I wasn't ignoring you. I was busy talking about other things, but you don't have a roll of TP when it's visible, where it's visible. Someone might swipe it. That is a masterful joke. That was cute. Let's see here. Kenny, you just changed out the old MREs in the bug out bag. Yeah, my old Subaru with the big bag of stuff that I used to have had like emergency water, although I think I have emergency water in my car too. Had MRE type stuff, had, the space blankets, it had flares, it had blah, blah, blah. I mean, I had everything. And then someone broke into my car and stole it right as I was getting rid of my car anyway. And so it's like, well, I guess this means I'm going to have to downgrade my things and stuff. And let's see here. Oh, Shock, you've got a great big knife in there. That's a really good idea. I used to always travel with a knife. Not a big knife, just a little knife, because knives can be very handy. And I haven't had a knife on me for a really long time. I should put a little pocket knife. I've got tons of them. Various and assorted places. I should go do that. And, Kenny from the Cove, you can light a Crayola crayon and use that to start a fire. Well, that's a good plan. Only the thing is I don't have random Crayola crayons in my car. However, I'd be willing to bet that there are a ton of parents in the world who probably could use that advice really well. And let's see here. Andre, you had the emergency food and water, knife and extra clothes. You had 2 knives, 1 jackknife and 1 fixed blade, right? Makes sense. So let's see here. Yeah, it seems like, hey, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, we are talking about the kind of thing that might be handy dandy to store in your trunk for, everybody's got their own little emergency kit in the back of their trunk. Some people have just a change of clothes. Other people have all sorts of stuff. So we're just talking about our various and assorted, things and stuffuses we got in our trunks. So you might want to take note, although I'd be willing to bet, and I'd like to hear what the normal stuff is in your neck of the woods that people keep in their trunk for emergency situations. Because I have no doubt in my mind that someone who lives in a rural area like you do, with the type of weather that you have, I'd be willing to bet that there are some little tricks of the trade that the folks in your neck of the woods always have in the back just in case. And actually that you keep a jacket in the trunk of your parents' car. Okay, well that makes sense, but one day you're going to have your own car, your own trunk, your own emergency stuffuses. And I remember, now I don't know if this is true or not because I saw this on the television, but I remember a trick that okay, so in I don't know if you guys ever saw the TV show That 70s Show. So Eric was the son and Red was the father, right? So Eric is about to take the family station wagon out into the middle of the boonies, and it's wintertime, etc. And so his dad is freaking out and giving him all of these, Andre, you already know where I'm going with this one. And so his dad is giving him this okay, you've got to, if you're going to go out in the snow, you have to bring a tin coffee can, a candle, a stick of gum, and some kitty litter. And he went and explained what he needed to do or whatever with all this stuff in case he got caught in a snowbank. And, Eric, of course, is paying absolutely no flippin' clue. And yes, Gina, That 70s Show with Topher Grace. Well, now, Shock, that is actually why I mentioned it's a show called That 70s Show, because I was thinking that. And so apparently, now this is something that the northern folk are going to have to either point and laugh and say, oh no, that's not going to work. Or they can say, oh yeah, dude, I've totally done that. But basically, Okay, so Darlene, yeah, so what Red Foreman was telling Eric to do was if they got caught in a snowbank, put the empty coffee can in the snowbank, chew the stick of gum to get a wad of gum, put the wad of gum in the bottom of the coffee can, stick the candle on the wad of gum, light the candle heats up the coffee can, which then melts out some of the snow, and then you put the kitty litter down so you can get traction to drive out. Now, I thought that was a brilliant little emergency kit. Like I said, I have no idea if that is even remotely a piece of handy dandy info. But the television set told me that scenario, and I thought it was very cute. And you're right, Shock, the Cafe Bustelo still does come in that metal can. And from what I hear, that's actually some pretty good coffee. And Bacola tea, kitty litter, and jugs of water definitely kept you from slipping and sliding around icy hills during winter storms. No two ways about that. Now Rick, though, Rick knows what's going on, probably from adventures that he cares not to remember. You keep a strip of carpet in the trunk for wintertime snow escape and summertime messing around on the ground to fix stuff. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, so Darlene, so you've never heard that, but you're open to the idea that might actually work. Okay, that's cool. And let's see here. Having kitty litter in the car. Let's see here. In the car would not be that bad of an idea. If nothing else, the kitty litter could put out a fire too. Yeah, well, that's true. Although if you're stuck in the snow, I'm not so sure. You want to put out the fire. Shock, you just solved that by moving someplace with less snow. Problem solved. There you go. Well, though, actually, when I used to have a pickup truck and the back of the pickup truck, if it didn't have anything in it, it absolutely would fishtail just on the wet roads of the Puget Sound lowlands. And so I always had, and it was kind of a pain in the arse because anyway, I always had sandbags over my rear axle whenever I had my truck, and all year round. And yeah, sure, it added to some gas mileage issues, but not really that much. And the safety feature of the sandbags over the rear axle was more than worth the cost. And the nice thing about the sandbags is they're kind of designed to stay put, they're just this heavy dead weight so they really, once you place them over the rear axle, they didn't do much. They didn't move around or slide around. And let's see here. Yeah, and Andre, you rented a truck once, and yeah, they fishtail big time. If you don't have load in the back of that pickup truck, you will fishtail. It doesn't really matter if it's a wet road or if it's a gravelly road or if it's any kind of situation that might cause a fishtail, you will fishtail. And so that's why the sand was so good. And 50 degrees Fahrenheit vanilla Coke Pepsi, that sounds wonderful. Total fall weather is going on. Perfect. I'm assuming perhaps maybe the leaves are changing color in your neck of the woods. Leaves haven't started. Let me rephrase that. Some leaves are definitely starting to think about changing color around here. And I'm not sure I'm happy about that. Let's see here. So you had a high of 64 today, Andre. I think that's actually pretty good for you guys considering the horrible heat wave that you just got over. And hey, yeah, Andre, are you, is it raining yet? Has the rain hit Northern California? I know a huge storm hit Alaska, and I know a huge storm hit Japan, but did that California storm drop some rain on there? And actually, I guess if Poppy Shaney's still around, did y'all get any rain yet? And Shock, okay, your leaves are changing in Southeast Virginia. All right. Oh my goodness. Wow, 84 degrees, sunny all day, 65% humidity. That's a little more humid than I would like, but that's still not bad. And I'm sure for you guys, 64% humidity is just like, oh, this is wonderful. Oh yes, we can do this all the time. And let's see here. It has been raining lightly, and you did get a clogged street drain. Well, hopefully you fixed it. And I think it got to be like 67 here today. So it's really not warm, but it's not bad. And yeah, you call it second summer. Exactly. That is very typical in the Pacific Northwest as well. We've got, I would consider this second summer that we're going through, although it is a smidge cooler than I anticipated it to be, because normally it can stay kind of warm around here through September. But I actually, I had to bring out the blankie the other day. So, Pacola T, get ready, map statter might be busting out a weather map soon. Nope. I don't have any maps for you today, you guys. I don't have any maps. I don't have much for you today, guys, because like I was saying with my inside out dress earlier, things didn't go quite as planned. I was supposed to do a bunch of work for a client today. I was supposed to figure out what it was that I was that we were going to talk about today, and yeah, no maps today. eMusic, no maps. But you know what? I do have a video, and eMusic has already seen this video. This video is hot off the presses from Nani Aloha, and it was not meant for our eyes. It was meant for Andy Bumatai. But Andy Bumatai right now is got his Daily Pigeon Live show on hold, and so if you send Andy Bumatai a drop, he probably won't play it because he's not got a show to play it on at the moment. But Nani Aloha, she was trying to convince her wonderful kitty that he needed to do a drop for Andy Bumatai, and Anne is here just in time for the cute little kitten video. And I know he's not really a kitten, but I call all cute animals kittens. You could be a 12-year-old Rottweiler and you're still a kitten to me. So let's watch the cute little kitten video, and we will then giggle about how cute the kitten videos was.
Quincy, are you trying to ignore me? Are you feigning indifference? Hey, Quincy. Quincy. Oh, boy. Talk about bored. Quincy, would you like to make a drop for Andy? I mean, that's what people have been asking for. Quincy, what do you think about making a drop for Andy? Do you have it in you? Are you thinking about it? Really? Quincy, would you like to do a drop for Andy?
Didn't think he was going to do it, did ya? Didn't think he had any interest, and then at the last minute, at that very last second, boom, trained cat, dropping the drop like he was told to. That is right. So yeah, Diva, exactly. Diva kitten with a temper outburst. Pow! You got it. That is exactly it. And hey, Kenny, all right, so we ignored Kenny's woes, and that's horrible because Kenny, it was 92 degrees yesterday, and you were cutting up dead branches and carrying them to the curb. No breeze, but occasional shade. Whee! Dude, I just don't even understand how any yard work can be done in 92 degree weather. Just saying. And if you came and looked at my yard, you'd know I was telling you the truth. And exactly, Poppy Shaney Bottle, you annoy me. Bop. It was such a good bop. Oh, it was such a good bop. And I know, Gina, I was just like, oh, this video, the cat is so not interested. The cat doesn't even notice the bottle. The one time you want a cat to knock something off, the cat's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But no, the cat had good timing. It definitely. And let's see here, Andre, they make people tough in Texas. How you keep the grass cut and green in that kind of heat. Whew, boy, howdy. Yeah, no doubt. I don't think that grass can be green in that kind of heat. I mean, I don't know. The grass in the Pacific Northwest turns brown even in August or even in July. So I mean, and we've got things in stuff. We've got rains usually. And Andre, thank you so much for gifting some subs to all of these folks that are in the house, perhaps. And let's see here. Oh, Andre, the Texas trick is green spray paint. My mom hated the lawn so much. She honestly wanted to just install AstroTurf in our front yard, and I was kind of horrified at the thought. And but then I found out that Ozzy Osbourne did the same thing, and my mom actually was never a fan of Ozzy Osbourne, but when I told her that Ozzy had AstroTurf in his front yard or in his backyard, whatever, because he hates the lawn too, my mom suddenly had this huge, she was just like, I love Ozzy Osbourne, he's a very smart man, blah blah blah. So apparently all it took for my mom to get on the Ozzy side of things was a similar hatred for grass. And let's see here, Cola T, you went to Punch Bowl today. They replaced all the grass around the columbariums with turf, saving water finally. Well, also actually, and I totally don't know what I'm talking about here, but not only is it saving water, it actually, I can only assume that the grass around those things, I don't know how to pronounce that word easily, so we're going to call them those things. I would imagine that they would have to constantly replace it and reseed it and returf it, because it's got to get a lot of wear and tear and just like wear away. I mean, there's people walking on it all the time. I would think that the turf would be more sturdy. Now, like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. So if you want to point and laugh at that thought, by all means, you can point and laugh. I know that turf gets worn out too, but yeah. And let's see here. Oh, Kenny, all that serious trio wrangling reminding me that you haven't done any serious yard work since 2018. Fair enough. And gosh, I hadn't even thought about how your grass might mostly stay green because of the humidity. That does kind of make sense, I guess, because grass is a thirsty little plant there. And let's see here. Hold on, Kenny, you just said something that I want to read, but I can't get it there, so hold on. So there's a house on Terrace Drive in Killeen where they concreted their yard and painted it green. Wow. Actually, that is what my mom wanted to do at first, and I was like, no, that'd be way too hot. And then she was like, okay, well, AstroTurf. And then later on, I found out that Ozzy did it, and so I revisited that conversation with her. It's like, well, you and Ozzy Osbourne have something in common. And Vanilla Cook Pepsi, you only like raking the leaves? I don't understand people that rake the leaves. I mean, it's just like, the leaves are meant to disintegrate into the ground to replenish the soil. I just don't understand. I mean, I guess because I don't live in an area that has a lot of leaf fall or a lot of leaf litter, because I live where there's a lot of evergreen fir trees, where they don't have their fall. I do notice that, it seems to be this thing to like rake leaves and then put them in plastic bags, and that just seems so counterintuitive to me, because well, leaves disintegrate. Autumn shed. There you go. Well, hey, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you know what? If you find a meditation in it, that is the best reason in the world to rake the leaves. But as far as like the homeowners who are trying to keep, I don't know what they're trying to do. I just don't understand leaf rakers for the most part. And Shock, you've got the city sends a leaf sucking truck, no bags. Yeah, we definitely don't have that here. Because one of the reasons why we don't have that here is because by the time most of the leaves fall, it already they're wet. And so I don't even know if you could, suck them off the street. You know, they're just so stuck. And let's see, Rick, at the cabin, you just sort of push them under the edge of the brush line and let nature handle the cleanup. Exactly. And Pacola T, Leaf Sucker, great job title. You know, there is, so one of my favorite bands is called the Super Suckers, in case y'all don't know. And the Super Suckers, apparently one of their fans is an owner of a septic tank cleaning company. And so he's got a couple trucks that go clean the septic tank, or not septic tanks. What is it? The, you know, porta potties. He owns a porta potty company, and all of his trucks that go clean out the, you know, porta potties are called this. They have Super Sucker labels on them. They're Super Sucker trucks. And let's see here. And one of your neighbors rents a leaf vacuum to tow behind his mower in the fall. Well, I mean, but what does he do with the leaves? Does he like go and put them in plastic? Because that just seems silly. And you think Super Soaker water gun for some reason? I can see that logic. And Vanilla Cupcupsy, you love fall, the apple flavor, the pumpkin, the leaves, the nature, the pumpkin spice, white girl season, and Halloween. Well, you know, I would love to say that pumpkin spice is not just for white girls. However, I am white and I drink pumpkin spice coffee all year round, so I'm not really the one to deliver that message at all. Yeah, so, Shock, I'm a white girl and I don't like any of those things. I don't know, how do you not like apple cider? I mean, I know that you can't drink it, which is why you might not like it, but the flavor of apple cider is just delicious. And, they have ice hard cider, kind of, wait, hold on. Ice hard cider, kind of like what? Oh, kind of like ice wine. Yeah, that's actually, I think some places call that Applejack, because it's basically where, Applejack is where the water freezes off the cider to concentrate the boozy appliness, and that's Applejack from what I understand. And let's see, you love apple cider, cold better than hot, and it's magnificent. I agree with you. I like it better cold as well, but if it's a cold, snowy night and I'm given the choice between a hot cup of spiced apple cider versus a hot cup of hot chocolate, I will absolutely, and I love chocolate, but I will absolutely choose the hot spiced apple cider. Even though I can't say it well, I would choose it. I would point and say this one. But you're right, cold is best. But I'm not going to turn my nose up at a hot drink. You know, Vanilla Cupcupsy, I used to be just like you. And for the most part, I still am. I'm not a huge fan of hot drinks. But occasionally, a hot drink is just like, oh yeah, that would that would warm my cold bones. And so it's in that realm that I'm talking about. But I can totally appreciate, I don't know what it is, like, I guess I like just to gulp stuff, and if it's too hot, you can't gulp it or whatever. I don't really know. But yeah, I'm not a fan of hot drinks very much either. And Andre, pumpkin needs to stay in its place in pies and maybe some coffee drinks, but we must draw the line. Draw the pumpkin line. You know what? Actually, I don't mind a pumpkin soup. However, most people, the way they make their pumpkin soup, they make it on the sweet side with like ginger and cinnamon and all things that are awful, which, by the way, I like ginger and cinnamon, but not in pumpkin. I like a good savory pumpkin soup, like none of this spicy, and let's see here. Kenny, okay, so pumpkin spice is in too many things. That is true. Coffee, yeah, the whole gym socks cologne. But you know, though, some people want to smell like pie. And I can tell you right now, I know that you said that you wanted to smell like key lime pie. And I can tell you this much, I said, when you told us all that, I said, well, you know, the lime coconut flavor of deodorant from Soda Wax, where we talked about a couple weeks ago. Let's see if I can get that on there. I happened to order some, and this is the lime coconut scent. And not only does it smell like key lime pie in the jar, I have worn it for the last 22 hours, and my armpits still smell like key lime pie. So, if you want to smell like key lime pie, there is this company out of Seattle called Soda Wax, and they've got a bunch of different scents, but this one is the lime and the coconut. And seriously, you guys, if you want to smell like a key lime pie, this is the one. And vanilla Coke Pepsi, holy flirkin' snick. Pumpkin pie blizzard, I've never heard of such a thing. That sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. So yeah, there we go. And see, Picola tea, yeah, savory pumpkin soup can be good, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be sweet, because when it's sweet, it's gross. When it's sweet, it's just gross. There we go. And so let's see here. Oh gosh, Rick, you know, you're totally right. The first day of fall is this Thursday. I completely forgot about that. And I feel like I missed something that I wanted to, okay, well, I cannot find it. And not sweet soup, savory is absolutely better. Absolutely, dude. It is, Darlene, I'm in so much agree with you. And, Kenny, you're fixing to pull the trigger on Dr. Squatch's Coconut Castaway and the Bay Rum soaps. Yeah, I've seen, oh yeah, I know you sent me, but I've seen those commercials. Those commercials don't come up just for the men. Or maybe the commercials do just come up for the men and the YouTube algorithm thinks I'm a man. But I get those, I've seen, I think, almost all of those commercials. And I'm curious if the coconut smells good, because sometimes coconut is, I've had coconut deodorants that don't really translate to what I would call coconut. Let's see here. And so vanilla Coke Pepsi back on the pumpkin pie yumminess. It has little pie. Oh, see, you're totally reading my mind. So it's in Canada. I hope that we've got it here in America too. I'm going to have to check. But you say that it has little pie chunks, which I expected, but it also has whipped cream in it, which I was thinking when you were telling me about it, I was like, there better be some sort of whipped cream involved there. And so, yeah, shocked most of the internet thinks that you're a man. I have no doubt about that. I know many years ago, because the algorithm, and I didn't, boy, that sounded awful. The algorithms are just flipping clueless, right? And so I know a few years ago, and by a few years ago, I mean, I guess, a decade or something, there was some way that you could find out what Google thought you were, you know, like what the Google algorithm had pinned you as. And I was apparently a 27-year-old male, and I was not a 27-year-old male at all. But as far as Google was concerned, I was a 27-year-old male. Let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, sweet potato is absolutely nasty. You know, that's really judgmental of you, and I totally share that judgment. I just am not a sweet potato person. Sweet potato French fries is just the worst idea I've ever heard in my life, and people seem to love them. People think I love that they're just so good, but no, they're not good. And so anybody who loves sweet potato fries, if you want to sit next to me, you can eat all of my sweet potato fries, all of them. Oh yeah. And okay, so Kenny, pumpkin pie blizzards are also in the United States, and that's the only way that Texas can tell that fall is here. All right, there we go. And yeah, Picola tea, ube is like a huge flavor, or well, it is flavor. It is a huge, like, flavor of the hour, flavor of the moment. It seems like ube is everywhere these days. I know, you know, I wonder if it's just because, I mean, first off, it probably tastes delicious to a lot of people. It's not really my favorite flavor, but I kind of wonder if people are just so intrigued by it because of the color. Because there's not a whole lot of purple foods, right? I mean, they're just not. And so, yeah, I just have to wonder. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, McDonald's apple pies are amazing. They are and they aren't. It depends on where you get them. I don't know how they prepare them in Canada, but on the continental United States, they bake their apple pies, and the baked apple pie is just subpar to the fried apple pie that they used to have when I grew up. And as it turns out, it seems like, if I remember correctly, Hawaii still has the fried apple pie, which is awesome. But Taco Bell has a fried apple pie, I think, or at least they used to. And that is as good as the old McDonald's ones. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, they have it fried here. You think, oh, you would know if it's not. And I have no doubt in my mind that if you think it's so good, then it must be fried. And I totally agree with you. That stupid fried apple pie is ridiculous. It's so tasty. And let's see here. Shock, you met Manny from Kauai at the LNL, and he's opening one 30 minutes from me and invited you to give you ukulele lessons. That's awesome. That's super awesome, Shock, that you've got A, an ukulele teacher close by, and B, an L&I close by, but I don't know who Manny from Kauai is, and I don't know if I should, but it doesn't matter because it sounds like he's the hookup for you, for certain. Let's see here. Yeah, Picola tea, it's an Instagrammable color, but you are just so over it. Yeah, exactly. And, oh, really, Darlene, you're not a fan of sweet potato pie? You know, I'm not that surprised. I really feel like, well, I don't know. I mean, sweet potato is such a Southern thing in my very limited experience. I understand the sweet potato is not from the South. I understand it comes from all sorts of places outside of the United States. I get it. But as far as our cuisine here on the American continent, it just seems so much of a Southern thing. I just didn't grow accustomed to it. Let's see here. Andre, sweet potato is a black thing and a Southern white thing. Okay, well, there you go. That makes sense. You make a sweet potato custard that'll knock your socks off and put you in a coma. I would try that, because the thing that I just don't really like about sweet potato is it's too sweet. Like, I'll eat a slice of sweet potato pie if I have to, if there's no pumpkin or apple or anything. But I don't like sweet potatoes as a side dish or as fries because they're too sweet. They should be a dessert. They should be a dessert, not on my dinner plate. And so, that's how I feel about the yams, which are really just sweet potatoes. On Thanksgiving, they're just too sweet. If you serve them to me as dessert, I might like them better. But you're presenting this to me as not dessert, and suddenly I'm like, I don't want this here right now. And so yeah, no. And Kenny, sweet taters are delicious. Fried, you can come sit next to me. If sweet taters are on the menu, just come sit next to me. You can have all my sweet taters. I'm not going to eat the sweet taters because the thing is you're wrong. They're not delicious. They're gross, but that's okay. I'll let you eat my gross stuff if you think it's delicious. Oh, all right, Andre, thank you so much for the 400 biddies. Exactly, Darlene. At Thanksgiving, it's the stuffing and it's the gravy. Abso-flippin'-lutely. And the green bean casserole because, because I love the green bean casserole. And I know that this is only something a kid would do, but let's see here. Picola tea, yes, you're right. I'm not a fan of tropical fruit salsas like mango or pineapple salsa on top of grilled meats. Nope, just not. Not at all. But I am learning how to handle things like lemon and stuff and lime. I can handle lime, but lemon and stuff I used to not like that on meat, and I'm learning now. So maybe one day. And Andre, you never had a green bean casserole. Well, what in the name of a white Thanksgiving? Where have you been? Green bean casseroles, my goodness, how could you have never had a green bean casserole? They used to be one of my favorite things as a little kid, and my mom made them with the French cut onions, so they were like really skinny. And I didn't know it was called green bean casserole, and for some reason, and I don't to this day still know why, I always called it Chung King because the green beans reminded me of noodles. And so in my house, when I was a little kid, if I asked for Chung King for dinner, that was actually green bean casserole. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I was a kid. And let's see here. Shock, your father-in-law only wanted lamb just for the mint jelly. That's funny. I don't like them on top of marshmallows on top of a baked sweet potato casserole. You know it. And yeah, exactly, Kenny. You eyeing the sweet potato fries at the fancy banquet. Hey baby, you gonna eat them fries? Yeah, exactly. Come on over. And let's see here. Green bean casserole is a beautiful thing. Yeah, I know that maybe you aren't full on super of the white bread whitedness, Andre, but I still find it so hard to believe that in your life you didn't come across some white person shoving a green bean casserole in your face. The green bean casserole. So do you know, Andre, what is in a green bean casserole? Because I mean, everybody has a different way of making the green bean casserole, but still, well, Andre, your white side might have been immigrants, but you also had neighbors and things. And so that's what I'm talking about here, right? And besides that, my mom was an immigrant and her dad was also an immigrant. And let me tell you, we had the green bean casserole. So, yes, exactly, Shock. They're green beans, cream of mushroom soup, canned fried onion thingies. Exactly. That's basically what it is. Although some recipes call for soy sauce in it as well to add salt. And it's just like, are you flipping kidding me? There isn't enough salt in the green beans, the cream of mushroom soup, and those fried onion thingies. But, there you go. And Darlene, believe it or not, you don't like green bean casserole. I can appreciate that because it has a certain gloppy texture that lots of people don't like it. But yeah, no, it was my favorite Chung King when I was a little kid. So, exactly, Kenny. Those fried onion shards totally make it great. Exactly. So let's see here. Shock, you lost all culinary tradition in your family. Okay, hold on. Grandma thought her daughter would be marrying a rich guy. I don't know. I don't understand those trains of thoughts, but okay. Let's see here. Picola T, your college roommate spent Thanksgiving at your family's house. She was freaked out using wooden chopsticks to eat her turkey, stuffing, green beans, sushi, sashimi, noodles, etc. Welcome to the island, roomie. The islands, roomie. Yep, there you go. Yes, Chung King absolutely was prepared. Andre, yes, that is what Chung King was prepared Chinese food in a can when you were a little kid. It was for me too. I mean, it existed as such, but for whatever reason, in my head, I still thought that the casserole my mom made was called Chung King. Or I don't know. All I know is I called it Chung King. And do they eat green bean casserole in Hawaii? Well, some people do. That was the first place I ever ate it was in Hawaii. So it wasn't like my mom just discovered this, Campbell's soup thing when she got to the mainland. I mean, Campbell's soup is everywhere, and the green bean casserole was one of their like flagship recipes, like from the 1950s. So, which is why so many households in the canned soup era have made it at least at one point. So, let's see here. Picola Tea, in your opinion, the worst canned prepared food with Chef Boyardee. Hey, Love Pat, good to see you. And oh my God, Picola Tea, serious as a heart attack. Did they put like a cup of sugar in every can of spaghetti sauce or noodles or whatever the spaghetti things are that the Chef Boyardee? Chef Boyardee is so flippin' sweet. I mean, like, I guess it's designed to like have the kids like it or something. But right, exactly, Shock. SpaghettiOs. Even as a little kid, I was just like, I don't know what this orange sauced, pasty, sweet pasta is, but I was not a fan at all. Oh, Picola Tea, you think the heavy sugar content was a preservative? Well, that makes sense. And Andre, Filipino pasta sauce, and it was even sweeter than the banana ketchup. Filipino spaghetti sauce is notoriously sweet. Like, it's supposed to be. And apparently, it's not uncommon for, like, chopped up hot dogs to be in Filipino spaghetti. Strange. I mean, I'll eat it. Maybe not with the sauce, but it just seems really kind of weird. And let's see here. Franco-American was knockoff Chef Boyardee, and it was worse. Oh, I remember Franco-American. I remember that. I don't remember anything they made, but I remember that brain. I remember that brain. Not really. I remember that brand, though. Oh, yeah. Hot dogs and SpaghettiOs. I guess, now that I think about it, the hot dogs and SpaghettiOs might be a good thing because it's so sweet and hot dogs are so salty that it cancels each other out or something. And Kenny from the Cove, according to the Godfather movie, sugar goes in pasta sauce. Well, true and not true. Here's the deal. It all depends on what pasta sauce you're making and who from Italy you're asking. Because let me tell you right now, I know plenty Italian folks who abso-flippin-lutely do not think that sugar belongs in pasta sauce. And one of the reasons I think why a lot of American Italians use their sugar in their pasta sauce is because a lot of what we consider Italian food in the United States is actually like a bastardized version of what they make in Italy. And the reason why it's a bastardized version of what they make in Italy is because a lot of these immigrants didn't have access to the amounts of cheese, the amounts of sugars, the amounts of this, that, and the other thing when they and in Italy. And when they came to America, there was a lot of what was formerly food that was way too expensive for houses to have on hand. Whereas they come to America and suddenly every household has an abundance of these things that used to be way too expensive to be out of their reach. And so they incorporated it into the foods that they brought from Italy and then, created on the new land. And so that's, I think, how you end up with sugar in your spaghetti sauce. Because let me tell you, a lot of Italian people get really offended by sugar in pasta sauce. And so let's see here. Picola Tea as a kid, it was so exciting to get a Swanson's TV dinner, even though nothing cooked evenly. Totally. Yep, exactly. Dessert and sides would be scorching hot while the meat gravy would still be cool. You got it. That's it. That is it. And let's see here. Well, pasta is Chinese for sure, but food is, food. After a while, food belongs to a lot of cultures, especially if you make it your own. And so, I think that it's fair to say that Italy is, Italy can lay claim to some pastas because I am fairly certain that you don't see any butterfly-shaped pastas in Chinese food. I mean, the Italians took that thing to a whole new level, right? You know, with their spirals and their loop-de-loops and their butterflies. So, you know, I mean, they were more than just noodles and dumplings, basically. Yep. So, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, cool. So Andre, you love the black pasta they have in Italy. I don't know what that is. Is that like a squid ink pasta? I'm assuming okay. So yeah, actually, what is yeah, Kalika, I've heard that it helps to cut the acidity out of the tomatoes, but the Italians that get offended by the sugar, the ones that I've talked to, they're just like, they use carrots for that purpose instead. They grate up carrot very finely, and they use that instead. So yeah, there is absolutely a purpose to the sugar, which is to cut the acidity. But some Italian families, they don't abide by the sugar in the pasta sauce at all. Really, Kenny, ZZ Top wrote an entire song about TV dinners. I had no idea. So it is squid ink pasta. You've never eaten it, but it's beautiful. But I thought you said you liked the black pasta. Now I'm very confused. So, and yeah, carrots are nicely, slightly sweet. Exactly. And that's the whole deal. And so, but I mean, the thing is, yeah, Kulika, exactly. Same thing, just different resources. Because back in the day, the sugar was very expensive and very hard to get in the old country, as it were. So yeah, the carrot is used. And so, every family has their own righteousness to their own recipes. And that, coupled, of course, with every region of Italy has different ways to make their different sauces. I mean, the way to make pasta sauce in Rome is very different than the way they make their pasta sauce in Sardinia. Now, I realize Sardinia is a different country than Italy, but how about we say Sicily instead? And actually, is Sardinia a different country than Italy, or is it a thing of Italy? Whatever. I shouldn't have said Sardinia. I should have said Sicily. There we have it. And Andre, Sardinia is a part of Italy. Okay, well then I could have said Sardinia, I could have, and I did say it. There you go. And let's see here, Kenny, you've had the squid ink pasta, but it was so long ago you don't even remember if you liked it. I don't really know. I don't really know if I would want to try it. I have to say though, all of the colored pastas, the red pastas, the orange pastas, the green pastas, they kind of freak me out. I don't think they're very pretty. I don't like them. I just want my pasta to be white or beige or tan or whatever color it is, other than I just don't put beets in my pasta, please. Just don't. Kenny, you're pretty much the adventurous eater in your family. There you go. Yeah, well, Andre, white pasta supremacy, what can I say? It's made with white flour. It is what it is. It's not like they're making it with green flour. They're adding spinach. They're adding vegetables in my carbs, man. They're adding vegetables in my carbs. And, Shock, your spouse drank the beet juice and spoke of consequences. Yeah, I don't know if the consequences are what I'm thinking of, but I do know once that I ate some artificially colored cupcakes. They were Mad Hatter cupcakes when Alice in Wonderland, the movie with Johnny Depp, was out, and Hostess had some, and they were very interestingly colored. And, yeah, things got very interestingly colored. I thought I turned into a unicorn for a little bit, or maybe a My Little Pony. Yeah, My poos, they were pretty. Nope, too late, Shock. I already shared. And Andre, yeah, I don't like beets either. Exactly. No, beets are gross. I don't like that. And let's see here. Yeah, Piccola tea. You worked and lived in Sicily and north of Venice. Very, very different foods and attitudes and lifestyle. Right, yeah, exactly. And so, like, you know, so just because one Italian family's like, oh, you got to have sugar, and another Italian family's just like, I would go to war before I'd put sugar in my pasta. You know, it's like that's how that is, because every, you know, just like in the United States, every region has its own style of food and culture, etc. And so, you know, there you have it. And let's see here. And you love zoodles, spiralized zucchini noodles. They are watery, though. Yeah, you know, I haven't tried out my spiralizer yet. I've had it for a while, but I haven't tried it yet. But, you know, I have a couple of zucchinis, and I really love just zucchini. And, you know, I think I would like the spiralized zucchini, not necessarily as a substitute for noodles, because like you said, they're kind of watery, but just as their own thing, like just as a different way to experience the zucchini, because I love zucchini. So it's like, you know, all right, love fat, go back to work. Glad you could swing in for just a quick minute. And, Shock, you just stay out of the kitchen with your Irish Italian cook in there. Makes sense. And Rick, you had zoodles last week with was good with sauce. So what kind of sauce did you use with your zoodles? Was it like, were you pretending they were spaghettis and you had your tomato sauce, or like did you have because I would think that tomato sauce would almost be too heavy for a zucchini zoodle. But as someone who's not had the zoodle yet, I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, what kind of pasta, or no, not what kind of pasta, what kind of sauce did you have over your zoodle? And, let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, there's one guy up in Oklahoma who pickles his own beets, and they're the only ones, they're the only ones that you'll eat. Fair enough. I used to not like, tomatoes. Tomatoes were gross until I tried like a fresh one off of the vine, and then suddenly it was like, okay, maybe this tomato's good. And let's see here. The zoodles are a great way to get the yummy sauce to your taste buds, though. There you go. So hated and refused to eat beets as a kid. As an adult, love them. You know, I actually okay, so Darlene, it was a homemade tomato sauce with sprinkled Parmesan cheese. Okay. All right, there you go. Kenny, zoodle sounds like a mixed breed of dog. Nope, it's a zucchini noodle. It's what people who are cutting their carbs use instead of pasta for their you know, their noodles, as it were. And Piccola tea, I think that I don't like beets, but I actually really enjoy a good borscht soup. But as a little kid, my family all loved beets, but I was never required to have that, you know, just take one bite, you know, like that was never a requirement of me, because when I was still in a feeding chair, high chair, you know, super young, my mom gave me a tiny teaspoon of, I don't know what, Gerber beets or whatever. And just like the night before, the day before, the doctor had told my mom that, you know, babies don't have taste buds. You can pretty much feed them, you know, whatever nutritious stuff you need to feed them. Babies don't have taste buds, right? Well, famous last words. Babies do have taste buds. And apparently this baby was having nothing to do with the beet flavor. So, you know, she just gave like the tiniest tip of a little spoonful of beets, you know? And she said that she's never had to, she just didn't, she's never seen the kitchen so pink. Apparently I spit them on the ceiling, all over her, all over everywhere. And the kitchen turned pink from my absolutely not, Yeah, no, I refused that. Yeah, it went out quicker than it went in. And so from that point on, my mom was like, yeah, I'm not going to force her to drink or to eat beets. So that was nice. That was very, very nice of her. And I know, Anne, right? Of course they do. Unhappy baby taste face is so sad. Yeah, I don't know what the doctor was thinking, but this was 1973. Doctors have learned a lot since then. And Bacola tea should have tried golden beets, no stains. Yeah, that advice came about, 49 years, a little too late, but I'll let her know. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. Oh no, Shock, you can't handle any tomato sauces anymore. They kill you. It sounds like nightshades is not your tummy's friend, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Andre. Borscht doesn't really taste like beets for some reason. And so I guess that's why I like that pink soup or something. And yeah, exactly. My mom is a firm believer, e-music. Exactly. Anyone who's tried feeding a baby something they don't like believes that babies can taste. I don't even know what the doctor was thinking. But doctor knows best, I guess. Yeah. Oh, Kenny, now see, that's stupid. The first time that you tried Parsely, you spit it out very loudly. You got us the boot from the snooty restaurant where we were at. You were 4. Well, and of course you didn't care. Your parents probably did. But seriously, dude, that's messed up. Because, you're not really supposed to eat the parsley, maybe just chew it. But a 4-year-old doesn't know that. Not to mention chewing on parsley is kind of a weird flavor for a 4-year-old. That is just... They were too snooty and hoity-and-toity. I'm sure your mom was mortified, I have no doubt, but your mom should have been more angry than mortified. And, this is no reason to be kicked out of a flippin' restaurant. The 4-year-old tried something that it didn't like. I mean, sure, you might have gotten your ass beat when you got home, but seriously, I'm not saying it was an ass-beating worthy event, but, in the 60s and 70s, things were different. And so, yeah, that just seems like a little bit of an overreaction, in my opinion. Let's see here. And, no, Andre, parsley is not really, I don't think it's for eating, but what it does is it freshens your breath. That's what I was always told. Well, actually, okay, let me rephrase that. Parsley is totally for eating. I mean, dried parsley is in a lot of things. The Italian flat leaf, but I think Kenny's probably talking about the curly leaf, the stuff that was always used as a garnish, which I don't really know if that ever is used in food for eating. But I do know that you're supposed to chew on it. You're not supposed to swallow, but you're supposed to chew on it, and it freshens your breath after a stinky, oniony, garlicky meal. That was what I was always told that it was for. But I guess I just leave with a stinky breath because, like most of you, yeah, I just look at it. It's just a garnish. I don't. Shock, being a knuckle dragging peasant, you don't know these things. Yeah. Well, what I'm telling you right now, might be wrong. So no quote me, but I'm 97% sure I was told that that's what the parsley's for. The curly parsley. Because, the flat leaf parsley is in, anything that wants to add a green thing. There's one last parsley. So, Pocola tea, you were forced to sit at a table until you finished your veggies and threatened to be served leftovers for breakfast if you didn't eat them. Anyone else subjected to that as a kid? No, we definitely, we didn't. I guess my parents pretty much just only gave us vegetables they knew that we would like or something. Because there were some vegetables. I think I feel like my mom might have had that happen to her, and so she just wasn't of that thing. But I'm sure tons of people have had it because yeah, it's exactly, you know, as Shaka's saying, your spouse was told to eat it or starve. He starved. You were told eat it or it'll cram it down your throat. So you'll eat it. Right. I mean, a lot of parents have that type of attitude when it comes to food. And so, because, you know, I mean, food honestly is flippin' expensive and, you know, you don't want it to go to waste. I'm not suggesting that I agree with Shock's parents or her husband's parents' methods, but I'm not at all surprised to hear that they existed. Not even close. So Kenny, when asked my mom if I could eat the garnish, instead of saying yes, she should have said yes, but you shouldn't. It's gross. Absolutely. Abso-flippin-lutely. She shoulda, but, and, right, okay, Andre, yeah, you got taken for a walk to the bathroom and got an attitude adjustment. Your mom did not wait till you got home. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, however that worked. Yeah, that sounds familiar too. So, there you go. You were just told, and to sit there until you ate it. You just sat at the table until they gave up, not that hungry. Well, yeah, and that, actually, you know, that is, I think that, obviously, forcing a kid to eat something that they don't like is one thing. If they haven't tried it yet, you know, try to get them to eat it, whatever. But if a kid is truly not hungry, forcing them to overfill themselves is just a bad lesson. I say this as someone who's struggled with my weight my whole life. I was somebody who always was hungry, but like to force feed a kid, I just like everybody, no matter what side of the eating spectrum they're on, whether they love food or hate food, like they need to, everyone needs to learn their limits. And so if you're not hungry and you don't want to eat, being forced to go beyond your limit of comfortable eatingness is just, that's cruel in my opinion. I don't think that that's, you know, I just don't, I just feel like when kids are setting their boundaries, grown-ups should listen. And, let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you wouldn't have been able to even go to that restaurant if your Uncle Henry hadn't been working there. And yeah, E-Music, exactly. Your baby brother dumped his bowl of rice on the plush red carpet at a high-class Chinese restaurant, and they were totally cool about it. Yeah, dude, little kids don't really... I mean, my best guess is Kenny was not making that loud gagging noise to get a reaction. It was just him going, you know, being a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds are a little bit less aware of their surroundings than other people. And sometimes not, but you know, I mean, come on. I just think that, that Kenny got the short end of the stick there. Let's see here. Your Burmese brother-in-law gets really salty about kids dropping food on his floor, though. Well, I'm not suggesting that you should drop the food on the floor. I mean, first off, unless you've got a dog that's going to clean it up, you definitely don't want to do that. Because, you know, they're going to know you did it. The evidence won't be eaten up by the little vacuum on 4 legs. Oh, you mean in the restaurant. Got it. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, that's part of running a restaurant. The public and their kids are going to come into your stuff. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly. You got kids, you know food is going to be on the floor. Yeah, and, well, as a parent, well, he might not have kids. He might just, you know, be running a restaurant and just be mortified at what kids do. And Rick, right, as a kid, 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers, you either ate or it was gone. Exactly, yeah. Yep. And, let's see here. So, Kulika, your sister, Darlene is saying, Darlene's got a story about peas. Your sister absolutely hated peas, not a fan of them. You are not either, but okay, your sister was forced to sit and eat her peas. She'd try, but then got sick a couple times. So then mom didn't make her eat your peas anymore. See, there you go. There's consequences, mom. Like, she didn't like them maybe for a reason. And that was one thing that my mom understood too, because she was, as I was saying earlier, trying to say earlier, but got sidetracked. Fancy that. She hated parsnips, and parsnips were like a part of her family's meals more often than she would care to admit. And she was forced to eat the parsnips. And so she never made parsnips when she was cooking for us. And B, she never did force us if we clearly didn't like it. She never forced us to eat it. Like canned spinach, oh my God, dude. Actually, part of the reason I think why she didn't make us eat canned spinach is because she didn't like it either. But my dad loved canned spinach. I mean, he loved canned spinach like nobody's business. So he had canned spinach quite a bit. And we always had the opportunity to eat off some of that canned spinach that Dad got on his plate. Nobody ever did. And Chuck, that is exactly how my dad ate it. Canned spinach boiled with vinegar and butter. Yep, that's exactly, and some salt and pepper. That's exactly how my dad ate the canned spinach. And I just don't know. I just don't know how you do it, man. I can't even look at canned spinach. And yeah, Kenny, you were very lucky that your dad was off to war, because you would have had war raged on your behind. My best guess is having gotten kicked out of the restaurant. I still disagree with you being kicked out, though. I'm on your side. And let's see here. Let's see here. When you were a kid, there was no such thing as fresh spinach or fresh anything. Honestly, Chuck, I hadn't even heard of fresh spinach, I think, until I was in college. Like, to me, spinach only came in cans. I didn't know that you could have a spinach salad. Are you kidding me? What is that? So I completely, I mean, this was the 70s after all. And back in the 70s, there wasn't as much fresh produce around because, in the grocery stores, because they just didn't really have the technology to ship it. It's what am I trying to say? It seems like the produce we see in our grocery stores today is a lot prettier and, well, more edible than the produce we used to see in the 70s. And I have a feeling that has to do with the technology of shipping it, is what I'm trying to say there. And Kenny from the Cove, let's see here. Uncle Henry often cooked parsnips, and he told us in no uncertain words, "You will eat the parsnips." And yes, he was German, a cook in the SS in World War II. There you go. Yeah, I know. See, and my mom would just be like, "I will fight a World War II war with you, and I will not eat my parsnips." And so, right, Pukola tea, you only knew canned or frozen spinach. Imagine your surprise the first time you cooked the fresh stuff and it shrank by 500%. I know, isn't it weird? It's just like, I'm gonna make myself a quick spinach saute. Come on, like, back in the, bring in the forklift full of spinach into the pan so I can have, like, 2 tablespoons by the time we're done. And let's see here, yeah, Kulika, Popeye did get his spinach from cans, but I still didn't want it. Popeye can have all the spinach in the world. And yeah, Andre, well, you obviously luckily had a garden that was available to you, but in the Pacific Northwest, there was not a lot of gardeners, in the woods that we lived in. So definitely not a lot of fresh spinach going on. I mean, we had potatoes, but that's about all we had in our garden. And let's see here. Yeah, no, and yeah, E-Music talking to Andre about, how some kids act in restaurants versus others. Yeah, we definitely, because I grew up as a very small child in Hawaii, and my mom had a lot of friends and family come visit, we would, as a very young child, I was taken out to restaurants and to bars a lot. And yeah, you learn... you learn real quick as a kid, like, this is not a child's space. This is not a child's playroom. This is not a child. Like, you sit and you be good and you listen to the grown-ups talk and you whatever, yeah. There was no running up and down the aisles in a restaurant. Are you flippin' kidding me? I recognize that not every family has that attitude, but yeah. And let's see here. Andre, yeah, you had fresh spinach in stores too. That doesn't surprise me because you were so close to the where they're from. But like shipping from the Central Valley to Oakland is one thing, but shipping from the Central Valley to the Pacific Northwest or to Wisconsin, totally different situation, right? I mean, I'm not surprised at all to hear that the produce in California in the 1970s was probably a heck of a lot better looking than the produce in the Puget Sound area in the 1970s. So, Kenny from the Cove, having memories of your mom's cream spinach made with frozen spinach. There you go. There you go. You know, I need to learn how to make cream spinach because the idea sounds gross, but whenever I've eaten it, it's really tasty. So I need to make some. And yeah, as a general rule, we didn't eat out. My family didn't necessarily go to restaurants. It was all about my mom entertaining people who were in town. So, you know, when you're in a tourist hub, you get a lot of visitors from out of town. And, you know, you don't feed your visitors at your dining room table. You know, you take them out or have them take you out to the local place, as it were. So yeah, I mean, you know, this is like small kid car seat time, you know, kind of thing. And, well, and then obviously older as well. And it's when you're older that you've already learned, yeah, you ain't going to be running around. So, and let's see here. It warmed your heart to see your grandkid raise his hand yesterday when he wanted to say something. He knew better than to interrupt the adults' conversation. Right. See, yeah, exactly. My mom would have approved of your grandkid there because that's exactly right. And let's see here. Here in Williamsburg, guests are much better off if we just cook for them unless they will take a recommendation seriously. Well, okay, but you guys, remember, we're talking about Honolulu here. This is a totally different, this isn't Podunk wherever. You know, we're talking about Honolulu. People want to go out when they come to Honolulu. So, you know, we went out. We didn't go out, but you're right. You know, as far as like day-to-day meals, oh heck no, we didn't go out to restaurants. No, that was home-cooked meals right and left. Always was, always, you know, always would be. In fact, oh, shock, Williamsburg is a tourist town, but it's full of chain restaurants. Well, right, but once again, this is Honolulu that we're talking about. In the 70s, not a lot of chains, and, you know, it's very different. It's not the average tourist spot. People don't want to, you know, people don't go to Hawaii to visit my parents' house. That's not why they came to Hawaii. That's not why they flew 6 hours across the ocean. Oh, that's so cute. Picola T used to wonder why you didn't feel tipsy sipping on a Shirley Temple. Right, Andre, here. Andre is picking up what I'm laying down. It's like being in the San Francisco Bay Area. When you get visitors, you go to the city and you go to the Fisherman's Wharf and you ride the cable car and you do all the things that you normally do not do when there's people or when there's not people coming to visit. But it just so happened that a lot of people came and visited because of where my mom and dad lived. And basically it was mostly my mom's friends that came and visited because my dad had lived there for 20 some odd years and his friends were all local at that point. But my mom was still fresh meat on the scene. And so her people were like, you know, I want to go to Hawaii. I've got somebody to visit there now. And exactly, Andre, you never do those things as a local unless you have tourist friends. Yeah, and you know, it's something that I have done. It's something that I have done is every once in a while, you know, tried to look through my own town through the eyes of a tourist. And it's just like, oh, you know, go like, so once I went on the big Ferris wheel that we have on the waterfront of Seattle. And I have had people ask me, is it worth it? And it's just like, I don't think so, but maybe if you're from out of town, you might think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Picola T, if we had $1 for every time we got dragged to the Smithsonian when you lived near DC, that's funny. That's funny. whereas I've never been. So I'd be one of those people dragging you there. But honestly, that's how I feel. And I know I'm going to probably offend some military people, but that's how I feel about the USS Missouri. Because the USS Missouri, before it was in Hawaii, before it was recommissioned, before it was whatever, it was decommissioned and it hung out in Bremerton, Washington for decades. USS Missouri was in Bremerton, Washington forever. And every single person who came to visit my family, we all had to go to the USS Missouri. I have been on that ship, I can't tell you how many times. And so, yeah. Smithsonian, I get it, because the USS Missouri, well, I'm sure it is wonderful and an amazing event for everybody except for me. Dude, no, been on it way too many times, couldn't care less about it at all. In fact, I remember when Photo Luke did a little walking tour of it, it was kind of funny. I was just like, and of course, why would anything have changed? But nothing had changed. I mean, it was exactly like I remembered. And yeah, and so let's see here. Shock sneaking into the King Tut exhibit, good times. Oh, that would be kind of fun, actually. I remember when the King Tut exhibit came to Seattle, and we got to see that. That was pretty cool. And Andre, they got it ready to take to Hawaii in Richmond, so you got to see the Missouri. Yeah. So yeah, right, exactly, Picola T. It's just like, yeah, we'll go see that one special exhibit, but I don't really want to see, the whole 6-hour schlep. Yep. And let's see here, Kenny, of course you were interested in more more indoor activities. That's so cute. Right on. All right, cool, you guys. Well, it is getting to be near the bottom of the hour, so I think we're going to wrap things up. However, I do want to ask you guys what you would like to watch next week. I've got either... I was going to do... okay. I thought next Saturday was going to be the 1st of October, but it's not. And because I thought it was going to be the 1st of October, I was like, hey, I'm going to play Beetlejuice. But then I was like, well, it's not actually the 1st of October, so maybe I shouldn't. So the choices for next week are Beetlejuice or Meet the Fockers. So we can ponder on that, and then maybe on Wednesday we can figure out what it is we're going to do. So let's see here. Andre, thank you so much for the 10,000 biddies. And let's see here. So I want to thank everybody actually for hanging out today and bringing the chatter to the crew, because I'll tell you what, I did not have any maps for all y'all. I barely had anything, and we managed to chit chat about all of the nothingniths. That's what we talked about for an hour and a half, which is super awesome. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. All of us chattering about nothing that matters. All right, so Rick, you're going to be on the road and to the cabin on Saturday, so no opinion from you. All right, I will take that as into consideration. And let's see here. I'm glad that you guys had a fun time, even though there was no maps. I know. So, all right. I guess we will hang out together, hopefully on Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time, or we can maybe hang out on other places like Photo Luke, etc., etc. And it just occurred to me that I just remembered that maybe we could raid, but never mind. Now that I remembered that we could raid, there's nobody to raid, so there you have it. All right, I tried for a minute. All right then, have a good rest of your weekend, have a great night, and we will see each other on Wednesday. Thanks so much, Rick, for the bits. What I was trying to say. All right then, thank you all for hanging out. We will see each other soon.